Have you ever sat down with a perfectly good plan, a clear goal, and a cup of coffee, only to find yourself, 3 hours later, an expert on the migratory patterns of Arctic terns? You look at your to-do list, and it seems to mock you. It feels like a personal failure, a lack of discipline, a flaw in your character. But what if I told you that this struggle isn't about laziness? What if it's a war, a civil war, being fought inside your own skull every single day? It's a battle between ancient survival instincts and modern demands. And understanding the battlefield is the first step to winning. Let's start with the two main combatants. In one corner, you have the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. Think of this as your brain's CEO. It's the part right behind your forehead, responsible for planning, logic, and long-term goals. The PFC is the part of you that knows you need to finish that report, file your taxes, or study for that exam. It understands future consequences and delayed gratification. It's the adult in the room, calmly pointing towards the sensible path. And in the other corner, you have the limbic system. This isn't a single part, but a collection of ancient brain structures. If the PFC is the CEO, the limbic system is the impulsive, emotional toddler who wants a cookie right now. It operates on a simple principle: if it feels good, do it. If it feels bad, avoid it. The limbic system doesn't care about your 5-year plan. It cares about the immediate dopamine hit from a funny video. It cares about the comfort of avoiding a task that feels difficult or boring. It's not malicious. It's just trying to keep you safe and happy in the present moment. This is the core conflict. Your modern, evolved PFC is in a constant tug-of-war with your ancient, primal limbic system. The report is a future reward. The cat video is a present reward. And our brain has a powerful, deeply ingrained bias for the present. This bias has a name: delay discounting. It's a fundamental concept in behavioral economics and neuroscience. It means that, to our brains, the value of a reward decreases the further away it is in the future. A cookie today is worth more than 2 cookies next week. This makes perfect evolutionary sense. For our ancestors, the future was incredibly uncertain. A guaranteed meal today was far better than a potential larger meal tomorrow that might never come. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush isn't just a proverb. It's a survival algorithm written into our DNA. But in our modern world, this algorithm backfires. The threat isn't a predator, it's a spreadsheet. The immediate reward isn't a handful of berries. It's the endless scroll of social media. Your limbic system, applying its ancient logic, chooses the immediate, guaranteed pleasure every time. This isn't just a gentle slope, either. It's what scientists call hyperbolic discounting. The value of a reward drops off incredibly steeply in the near future. The difference in value between today and tomorrow feels massive. But the difference between day 365 and day 366 feels almost non-existent. This was famously demonstrated in the Stanford marshmallow experiment in the late 1960s. Psychologist Walter Mischel gave children a choice: 1 marshmallow now, or 2 if they could wait 15 minutes. It was a direct test of their PFC's ability to override their limbic system's desire. Some waited, many did not, showcasing this internal battle in its purest form. But there's another, darker force at play in this war. It's not just about seeking pleasure. It's also about avoiding pain. And for that, we need to talk about a tiny, almond-shaped part of the limbic system. We need to talk about the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's threat detector, your internal alarm system. Its job is to scan your environment for danger and, when it finds it, to trigger the fight, flight, or freeze response. It's incredibly effective at keeping you alive if you meet a bear in the woods. The problem is, it's not very good at telling the difference between a real bear and a symbolic one. To your amygdala, the threat of failing a test, of being judged for your work, or of feeling overwhelmed by a complex project can feel just as dangerous as a physical predator. The task itself becomes the threat. So what does it do? It triggers an avoidance response: flight. Suddenly, cleaning your entire apartment feels urgently important. You flee the danger of the difficult task and escape to the safety of a simpler, less threatening one. This provides immediate relief from the anxiety, which feels good. And because it felt good to escape, your brain learns a simple, Dangerous lesson. Avoiding this task reduces stress. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Procrastination becomes a learned coping mechanism for anxiety, reinforcing the habit each time you do it. As if this internal battle wasn't enough, our brains also actively trick us with cognitive biases. The most famous of these is the planning fallacy, a term coined by the legendary psychologist Daniel Kahneman and Demister Serki in 1979. It's our systematic tendency to underestimate the time, costs, and risks of future actions. We've all done this. That report? It'll only take 2 hours. And then, 8 hours later, you're still working on it. We base our estimates on a best-case scenario, forgetting to account for unexpected problems or our own past experiences. As Kahneman said, we are prone to falling for the planning fallacy. Our brains create a rosy, optimistic vision of our future self. This future you is a superhero of productivity. They're well-rested, hyper-focused, and immune to distraction. So it feels perfectly reasonable to leave the hard work for them. This brings us to another fascinating concept, the default mode network, or DMN. This is a network of brain regions that becomes active when we're not focused on the outside world. It's the part of the brain responsible for daydreaming, self-reflection, and thinking about the past or future. It's your brain on autopilot. When you're procrastinating, your DMN can go into overdrive. But instead of productive daydreaming, it often becomes a cycle of rumination. You're not doing the task, but you're spending enormous mental energy worrying about not doing it. This rumination reinforces the stress and negative feelings associated with the task, making it even harder to start. Now, this all might sound a bit bleak. It seems like our brains are hardwired to fail in the modern world. A messy tangle of ancient instincts, emotional triggers, and cognitive tricks. But here is where the story takes a turn. Because our brains have a superpower, a kind of magic. It's called neuroplasticity. It's the scientifically proven fact that your brain is not fixed. It can, and does, change throughout your life. Your experiences, thoughts, and actions can physically rewire its structure. Think of your neural pathways like paths through a dense forest. The path of procrastination is well-trodden. It's wide, clear, and easy to walk down. Starting a new, productive habit is like forging a new path. At first, it's hard work. You have to push through the undergrowth. But every time you choose that new path, every time you start the task for just 5 minutes, you clear it a little more. You are physically strengthening the neural connections associated with that new behavior. The old saying in neuroscience is neurons that fire together, wire together. You are literally building a new highway for productivity in your brain. So how do we start forging this new path? How do we use our knowledge of the brain to work with it, instead of against it? The first tool is a beautifully simple technique called an implementation intention. It was developed by psychologist Peter Gallwitzer, and it's all about making a specific plan. It's not just saying, I will work on the report tomorrow. It's creating a precise, preloaded command for your brain in an if-then format. If it is 9 o'clock, I am on Tuesday. Then I will go to my desk and open the report document. This simple act removes the need for in-the-moment decision-making, which is where the limbic system often wins. The second tool is called temptation bundling. This idea comes from Professor Katie Milkman at the University of Pennsylvania. It's a way of hacking the brain's reward system to your advantage. You bundle something you want to do with something you should do. For example, I am only allowed to listen to my favorite true crime podcast while I am doing the laundry. Or, I can only watch my guilty pleasure reality show while I'm on the exercise bike. This links an immediate, pleasurable reward directly to the task you've been avoiding. It gives your limbic system the cookie it craves, but only after you start the work. The final tool is perhaps the most profound. It's about connecting with your future self. Research by psychologist Hal Hershfield has shown that when we think about ourselves in the future, our brain activity looks remarkably similar to when we think about a complete stranger. There's an emotional disconnect. This makes it easy to load up that stranger with all the difficult work. It doesn't feel like we're punishing ourselves. It feels like we're giving a task to someone else. The solution is to actively build empathy for your future self. Take a moment to vividly imagine them. 10 years from now, what do you want for them? Write a letter to your future self. Or, more simply, before you procrastinate, ask yourself one question. Will doing this make my future self happier and less stressed? By closing that emotional gap, you make the future reward feel more present and more real. The struggle with procrastination is not a story about weakness. It's the story of a modern human brain, with its incredible capacity for planning and dreaming, tethered to an ancient operating system that's just trying to keep us safe and comfortable. It's a conflict between your inner CEO and your inner toddler. It's not about finding more willpower or just doing it. It's about understanding the system. It's about being a clever diplomat, negotiating between the different parts of your own mind. Use an if-then plan to bypass the debate. Use temptation bundling to bribe the toddler. Use sympathy to honor your future. You have the ability to physically change your brain, to build new habits, one small, intentional action at a time. So be kind to yourself. You're not broken. You're human. And now, you have the user's manual. Go and get started.